It's time for Media Watch with Emma James. Good evening, Emma.
Hi there.
I wonder what you're going to start with. I have a feeling it's going to be about Donald Trump Jr.'s dealings with Russia that dominates.
Yes, very much so. It continues to really dominate on social media, not least, of course, because his father has once again weighed into the argument, defending his son's appearance on television, saying that it was open, transparent and innocent, and this is the greatest witch hunt in political history, according to him. He went on to say, and this is the tweet that raised quite a few eyebrows,
Sure.
Remember when you hear the words sources say from the fake media, oftentimes those sources are made up and do not exist. Now, the reason that that's perplexed so many people is quite simply this, put best by Nick Kristof of the New York Times. The source was your son's own emails, copied to Jared, of course, the son-in-law of Donald Trump. What was fake, he asks? The 8 denials from you and your aides. Now, he goes on to talk more about this in his article in the New York Times. And what he says here is that they have denied those meetings have taken place repeatedly. The Trumps and the White House have denied it all. And what he says is that is duplicity on top of collusion. Very strong words, but not the strongest used, I don't think, in terms of this particular story, because the US comedians have really entered into the spirit of condemning Donald Trump Jr. Before anyone's even decided if a crime has been committed. Take a look.
Thought if he could be transparent, unlike crooked Hillary, and share his emails, people would be like, huh, what an honest guy. The only problem is, once you read the emails, they prove the collusion that Junior's been denying all along.
So, Donald Trump Jr. gave us the dots. All we have to do is to connect them to see where this is going. Oh, yeah. He's going to jail.
So there you go, a pretty damning version there from Stephen Colbert, who believes that enough has been done to see Donald Trump Jr. heading off into prison. But has a legal line been crossed? Well, one of the articles that deals with that probably best is the Washington Post, which says that he may have crossed a legal line. They do point out, though, that collusion is not a legal term, so there's no crime of collusion. It is purely a political term. But they do say that you can go to jail for conspiring with a foreign adversary to influence or undermine the election. And that, according to the lawyer that they've spoken to, could be where Donald Trump Jr. may find himself getting into legal hot water. A very different view, though, fairly unsurprisingly, if you take a look at Fox News, there's an opinion piece on their website written by one of their anchors who's a former defence attorney, Greg Jarrett. He doesn't believe any laws have been broken. He talks about 3 highly qualified lawyers who have come out and said that Donald Trump Jr. should be found guilty of treason. He says they appear to have slept through their class on constitutional law. And what he goes on to say is that had they used any information given to them by these Russian sources, it wouldn't have constituted defrauding the US either, another thing that some people have said he could be accused of. According to him, no, as long as it was true, it was all fine.
Okay, staying in the United States next, and Donald Trump, the father this time, is also facing accusations of, in a separate case, he's being sued for blocking people on Twitter. How is that?
It does seem...
He does love communicating on Twitter, it must be said.
Indeed. He has said it himself that Twitter is his way of speaking directly to the American public. In fact, he's even credited it with perhaps being the thing that got him into the White House. He has 33.8 million followers.
How many of those
on
are
Twitter.
bots, I wonder?
It is a very large number. I did look this up recently. I can't remember off the top of my head. But what has happened is that it has become an official channel for him to actually speak to people. Sean Spicer, the press secretary at the White House, has said that the tweets equate to being official statements. So when the president decides then to block people not only from communicating with him but also seeing his tweets, then that's where you get into the legal kind of question mark. And 7 people have actually taken legal action saying that this violates the First Amendment, their right to free speech, in what is a designated public forum. You are not allowed to exclude anyone from it. And what's happened is he's been offended by people's tweets and then has blocked them from taking any further part in
Any
conversations.
high-profile names?
No, not in this particular 7. But Philip Cohen has written an article in the Daily Beast where he talks about his reasons for actually taking legal action, because some people do think it's a little odd. Some people have been mocking the decision to do this. But he says that setting up a public space for speech and then expunging it of views he finds uncomfortable is more than obnoxious, it is illegal. And what he talks about is the fact that there is genuine interaction between pro and anti-Trump Twitter users and within the threads created by Donald Trump's tweets. And he doesn't mind the fact that it often gets ugly, and he's been issued death threats on occasions because of his tweets. This is the tweet that actually got him blocked by the US president. Probably not his wittiest effort, I don't imagine. But you can understand why Donald Trump might not have liked it, why he felt the need to block him. Well, that's another question. But what he says in this article is that I am excluded from what is probably the most effective form of political speech I've ever had. Now, there have been reactions online to this, people thinking that it is just ridiculous. Insanity. It's a personal account, says this woman. Another person saying that Twitter users filing this lawsuit, too many snowflakes in this world. But there are others who absolutely think they have a case. We will wait to see how it turns out.
We'll see. Emma James, thank you very much there. Emma James with Media Watch.